Hello challengers, Dr. Naveen here. So this video is from obstetrics section. Okay, we are trying to discuss some of the important maternal infections. Okay, the infections during pregnancy. One of the important being the chickenpox during pregnancy or varicella infection. Why we are concerned about it? Because any viral infection, be it rubella, okay, be it varicella zoster virus, or be it CMV, cytomegalovirus. The problem is, if this infection occurs in the first trimester of pregnancy, let me say during the organogenesis period, because that is the first trimester, there are more chances of developing congenital abnormalities. Okay, so it is always better to prevent these with the help of vaccinations available. Okay, so during first trimester of pregnancy, by any chance, if there is chickenpox, there are a lot of issues. So there is congenital varicella syndrome which develops. Okay, we'll discuss that, what are the features of congenital varicella syndrome, and we'll try to differentiate congenital varicella syndrome from the neonatal varicella syndrome. Okay, so let's begin with the incubation period of varicella zoster virus. Okay, it is around 10 to 21 days. Okay, so and the disease is contagious. By any chance, if a pregnant female is infected with the chickenpox, she is contagious from 1 day before the onset of rash to until the lesions are crusted over. Usually, if the chickenpox is a disease of pediatric population, okay, and it's not a severe disease in pediatric patients, okay, it comes, there will be skin lesions and they go off. But problem if this infection occurs in adult age group or in the pregnant female is, the main problem in this age group is there are high chances of mortality, 1 to 2% of the mortality. And the main reason behind the mortality of chickenpox during pregnancy or during adolescence is, adult period is, development of pneumonia or pneumonitis. Very important. Okay, so because of this pneumonia, there is high mortality rate, and 5 to 20% of the pregnant women who develop chickenpox, they land into varicella pneumonia. For example, if there is a female sitting in your obstetric practice, OP, and she has presented with the skin lesions. Okay, now you have to evaluate the risk factors. There are two important key risk factors that you should evaluate in history. One thing is, history of smoking is a risk factor for development of varicella pneumonia. And also the other risk factor being, at the onset, at the time of presentation, if there are more than 100 skin lesions. So try to elicit these in the practice. Okay, if the woman is a smoker, and if there are more than 100 skin lesions in the body at the onset, then there are high chances that the woman may land into varicella pneumonia. One more problem here is, most of the times when there is development of pneumonia, this is asymptomatic. It takes time to present. So usually the Williams Obstetrics recommends performing a chest X-ray in pregnant females to detect this pneumonia. Okay, because mostly it is asymptomatic. Why it is important to detect pneumonia? If there is a patient with chickenpox, the next question is whether to treat her on an OP basis or whether to admit the patient. There are two criteria for admission. One is presence of pneumonia, and the other is if the woman requires IV fluid therapy. Why IV fluid? Most of the time there will be some mucosal lesions and the woman cannot take fluid. She is highly dehydrated with the skin lesions. She might require IV fluid. With the hypotension is there, you have to give IV fluids. So these are the two conditions in which you might need to admit the patient. Okay, so we have started discussing chickenpox during pregnancy. By now you know the incubation period, and by now you know when she is infective, and also why it is a bit high mortality rate is seen in adults and pregnant, and you know the interplay between pneumonia and the risk factors. So now next question being, for example, there is a 22-week pregnant woman, primi gravida, presented to you with chickenpox. She is so worried, like somebody might have told her that contacting chickenpox during pregnancy might affect the baby. The baby might come out with the congenital anomalies. So you have to answer her by saying that the risk of development of congenital abnormalities like chorioretinitis, that is eye gets affected, microophthalmia, small eyes, cerebral cortical atrophy, intrauterine growth retardation or restriction, hydronephrosis, kidney getting affected, limb hypoplasia, and also cicatricial skin lesions, that is scarring skin lesions. All these are congenital varicella syndrome, and research says the risk of contacting these is highest when there is development of chickenpox between 13 to 20 weeks. Between 13 to 20 weeks. When I started, I told you first trimester being like kind of 1 to 12 or 14 weeks is the key period wherein you develop congenital abnormalities because organogenesis develops there. But research says that is the reason so many questions are asked in this time period, about this time period. The highest risk of developing congenital varicella syndrome is between 13 to 20 weeks. So this should be your take home, very important one. Okay, and you know the features: chorioretinitis, microophthalmia, cerebral cortical atrophy, IUGR, hydronephrosis, limb hypoplasia, and also scarred skin lesions. This can be given as an image spotter. If you see skin lesions which are scarred and also limb hypoplasia, it is congenital varicella syndrome, because image based questions are the new trend, right? So try to identify the diagnosis of congenital varicella syndrome based on the clinical picture or clinical findings which are presented here. So we are started, we are done with the congenital varicella syndrome and the time period. Then what is neonatal varicella syndrome? Okay, congenital or fetal is same. Please don't get confused with this neonatal varicella. Neonatal varicella is infection of the newborn after the delivery. Let me give you a clinical scenario. Okay, commonplace example. There is a 39-week female, okay, primi gravida, presented to you with skin lesions typical of chickenpox. 39 weeks. She is about to be delivered. Okay, you admitted her maybe because of to perform elective cesarean section and all. She is 39 weeks. Now she got delivered. The rash was on day 1. Okay, and she got delivered on day 7. Okay, so she developed approximately more than 5 days after developing disease. She delivered a baby. Why this time period is important? Because if the delivery occurs within 5 days of onset of the disease, or after delivery within 2 days if the mother develops the disease, don't get confused. If the woman is pregnant and she got delivered within 5 days of onset of symptoms, and also woman is fine till the date of delivery, but after the delivery within 2 days if the mother is developing the disease, in both these scenarios there is high risk of neonatal varicella syndrome. What is this? There is high risk of neonatal varicella. You know what happens in congenital varicella syndrome, which is most commonly in the first and second trimester. Let me also talk about neonatal varicella syndrome. This is like kind of severe infection which can leads to the pneumonia again. The baby might develop pneumonia, and there is the chance of hemorrhagic exanthem. Okay, hemorrhagic exanthem, and the baby might also develop encephalitis. Please remember this. Encephalitis can also be seen in these cases. So the main problem here is pneumonia, hemorrhagic exanthem, and encephalitis in neonatal varicella syndrome. So this is different from the congenital or fetal varicella syndrome. Neonatal varicella syndrome develops if it is less than 5 days before delivery or up to 2 days after delivery. For example, in this clinical scenario which I just explained, the delivery happened after 7 days of contacting disease. So she doesn't require any special care. If it is within 5 days, during the management, we should give varicella zoster immunoglobulins to the baby, because there is 30% chances of mortality. Just let me make it clear. If it is occurring within 5 days or up to 2 days after delivery, the high chance of 30% mortality to the baby. That's the reason to the baby we give varicella zoster immunoglobulin. I'm only talking about the baby. I'm not talking about the mother. Okay, mother is not at risk. And most of the literature says contacting chickenpox during pregnancy, the clinical picture, everything is similar to contacting in a non-pregnant woman. The main problem is not about pregnant female. It is about baby. If it occurs early, baby might develop congenital abnormalities. If it occurs late, almost at the time of delivery, the baby lands up into so many complications. That is almost multi-organ failure. Liver getting affected, lungs get affected, hemorrhagic exanthematis can be seen, and brain getting affected, causing encephalitis and 30% mortality rate. Okay, so this is overall a clinical picture and epidemiology of the chickenpox during pregnancy. Let's quickly jump into the management aspect. Okay, so let's discuss it with the help of a case again. So there is let's say a 32-week pregnant woman, primigravida, okay, primigravida has presented to you. She is not a case of chickenpox, but somehow in their vicinity, maybe in the colony or maybe in the same apartment, there is a case of chickenpox, and she got like there is a history of contact with a patient with chickenpox. Now you see, chickenpox is transmitted through respiratory route and also close contact with the blisters. Now she is pregnant woman with history of exposure, no disease. She has presented to you. How will you manage this case? Okay, you should ask her about history of chickenpox during childhood. If there is history of chickenpox, if she remembers, she is immune, so nothing to worry. If there is negative history of chickenpox, okay, you have to do serological testing. She might got immune vaccinated during the childhood, but that doesn't protect her, because the vaccine will protect only for approximately 5 to 10 years and the titers will fall off. So it is always good to do a vis-a-vis serological testing to test for immunoglobulin level, protective immunoglobulins or protective antibodies in the body. If the immunoglobulins are present at good level, she is immune, need not worry, just send her home. If there is negative immunoglobulins in the body, now the case is she is susceptible. Because there is no immunoglobulins, you have to give Varicella, which is approved. Varicella is again the Varicella zoster immunoglobulin. And this can be a question, like the ideal time period to give these immunoglobulins in a susceptible pregnant woman with history of exposure is within or less than 96 hours. That is almost less than 4 days, I think. 4 days of exposure is ideal, but you can even give it up to 10 days because something is better than nothing, right? So the Varicella can be given in this. So in this slide, what I'm trying to cover is, if there is a pregnant woman with history of exposure but no disease, this is how you do. But there is history of exposure and there is disease, then what do you do? At the start I did tell you that it is important to do chest x-ray because most of the pneumonia patients are asymptomatic, okay, and the patient requires supportive care. You have to take care of the skin, application of calamine lotion because these lesions are itchy and sometimes painful, prevention of proper hygienic care because the skin lesions might get infected, okay, skin infection can be a possibility, but oral antibiotics are not usually given, they are not recommended unless there is a history of skin infection, okay, which can be confirmed by taking a swab from the skin sample and culturing it and all. Those things are usually not done. So just remember, we apply calamine lotion and we take hygienic practices. In case if there is requirement of IV fluid or pneumonia, you have to hospitalize the patient. So only in these hospitalized patients there is recommendation to give antiviral therapy, that is IV acyclovir 10 to 15 mg per kg every 8 hours. This is standard reference given in Williams obstetrics. In many of the other literature, they did give oral acyclovir and all, even in OP patients if there is a risk and all. But don't worry about all this. If you're treating mother at home, there is no need of IV fluids and there is no history, there is no clinical picture of pneumonia. Don't worry, just supportive care. If you're admitting in hospital, it is severe condition, right? So then give IV acyclovir at a dose of 10 to 15 mg per kg every 8 hours. And yes, there's no role for vaccine. Vaccine is not recommended. I can't say contraindicated because in the Williams obstetrics latest edition they have mentioned that if there is vaccine also given, if given, nothing happens to the mother or baby. There's no clear-cut data, but it's always safe to not to give it in pregnancy. So it is not recommended during pregnancy. And let's say there is an adult woman in the reproductive age group. She is not pregnant, okay, she might have come to you for the sake of vaccination because she has no history of chickenpox and all. If you are giving a vaccine to her, you should advise her to not to get conceived in the next 1 month. She should take utmost precautions because the main risk is there is a risk of developing congenital varicella syndrome. That's the reason within a month of giving vaccination, women should not conceive. Okay, so these are the few important points. So now with this, we try to cover like with 3 or 4 clinical examples, the overall picture of chickenpox during pregnancy and its management aspects. Let's do some questions to just to brush up the topic and revise it in a quick way. So here a pregnant lady develops chickenpox. During which part of her pregnancy will it lead to highest chance of neonatal infection, okay, neonatal I'm talking about, so it is last 5 days, okay, less than 5 days of the delivery is the highest chance. A pregnant lady who is having chickenpox, adverse reaction of this will maximum seen in the fetus at what age group? It is 13 to 21 weeks. So congenital varicella syndrome develops between 13 to 20 weeks or 13 to 21 weeks.